Yeah, that wasn't that way. So, good morning or afternoon. Quite often we're not until the evening, so this is an afternoon one for us.
Holiday, Easter holiday.
Yes, it's Good Friday today. So we watched the movie Jean de Florette. You made me watch a foreign film.
First time we had to watch a foreign film.
Yeah, and I'm getting used to subtitles. I love subtitles, but this was necessary because it was in a different language.
This was forced subtitles.
Yes. Yes. What did you think of it? I loved it.
I loved it too.
It was stunning.
It was simple.
Yep.
And that's what made it wonderful.
Yep.
Absolute simplicity.
Yep.
And you didn't like certain people, and you learned to not like certain people, and you learned to love certain people, and you break down your barriers inside by watching the movie. Yeah.
Now did you, what did you think about the very last moments on the screen is when it said end of part 1? I know. I'm talking, so we have Jeff going.
No, I have to come up with a movie that has the connections to this movie.
Okay, I hope you have. We're watching part 2, because that would be, even if you said we're not watching that, it'd be like you have to get it anyways, because I didn't know that it was just part 1 of a movie. So I'm going like, what do you mean part 1? What do you mean part 1? So I had to go look up. It's like, what do you mean it's only first part? So yeah, yes. No, we're gonna be watching the second one next time, because yeah.
I know. It's that's what Corrine told me about this movie.
Well, of course.
Yeah, and it's one of her favorites, and the second one that comes in with it. That's why it was going to be hard for you to figure out the connection in the movies when the second one started, even if you didn't notice that or look at that. Right. When the characters are the same people in the next movie.
Well, I didn't know this, but the movies were filmed. Well, we probably should talk about it after we watch the second one, but they were filmed at the same time. Mm-hmm. It was basically a very long movie that they divided up into 2.
But it's 20 years apart in historical.
Yes. Yeah. But it was the same people, the same, they did a really good job of, the setting, I'm sure, is going to be quite similar, and there's going to be, the story continues.
Yeah. Well, 20 years later, I mean, what can happen in 20 years later? Like what's evolved with the characters 20 years from now? Well, everybody's 20 years older.
Yeah, granddaughter just walked by. Yeah. So do you know the story it's based on? Like, it's based on from the 1963 book called The Water of the Hills by Marcel Pagnol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that.
I don't know if Corrine knew that either, but this is like something very dear to her, because it's about it's about the earth and what it gives you, and the pettiness of some people.
Yes.
And the effort of others in midst of that pettiness.
Yep. Yeah. It's about greed. It's about betrayal. It's about loss. It's
perseverance.
Yes.
It's about hope. It's just it's freaking everything.
Yes, but do you know what happens in the second part?
Yes, generally, yes.
Okay, yeah, because it's almost like I looked up some of the reviews, and they said the second part is even better than the first, because it's like you finally get to hear the end of the story, and it's like we're left in the middle of the story, and it felt like the end, but no. It's actually,
it ties a bunch of things up that you don't even know are questions right now.
Yep.
You don't even have them as questions.
Yeah. No, I had some questions.
Did you?
My questions. Well, they ended up with the girl. So maybe we should recap.
Let's tell a bit of the story first. A son comes home from war. To see his father.
No, uncle.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Comes home to see his uncle, and his uncle lets him live in a little stone house above him in the hills in France somewhere.
Provence.
Provence. What year do you think this is set in?
It's after World War One, but before World War II. So he was that's what it says.
See, here's why I'm saying it can't be. I mean, it can be, but there were no cars ever. There was not one car in this movie.
Right.
None. There was wagons. There was guns.
Well, if it was just after World War One, then villages might not have cars.
A car or two to deliver. You don't deliver your. I mean,
there was no roads. There was no road to the house. Anyways,
in the town, there was a nice town to kind of
sure.
Like it. It was just weird that. So I thought it was end of the 1800s is what my brain was telling me. Although they got delivered cement and fencing and like Home Depot delivered.
Yes, for sure.
It was really cool how they had the same infrastructure for delivering that we have now. Like, I need fencing. Yeah, it's coming. I need shingles. Yep, it's coming.
Yeah.
So anyways, he comes and he decides he wants to plant carnations. That's his dream. And the father initially went, "You're a fool." And then he went, "Wait, you got 20 cents for those carnations? This is a money-making endeavor."
We can make some dough.
Like 20 cents, I see.
That's Jackie Gleason and his schemes to make money, with Ed Norton. It's the same thing all over again.
Yeah, let's get rich by buying the lottery tickets.
Yeah.
So he decides he wants to do this, but he needs water to do that, and it's a very tight supply where they're living. And he ends up wanting to buy the neighbor's fields because there's a spring on it. And then they would be able to have all the water that they need. Well, sure enough, the neighbor dies under funny circumstances.
He was there and he accidentally kind of almost didn't kill him, but yeah. So that was like basically a murder that, I guess we're letting him get away with this.
That's right. And even the way he said, "Oh, this will solve our other problems. This is good. This is not bad."
Well, there was a good line about. Oh, let me see if I can find about. Oh yeah, I'm going to tickle him with a pickaxe. He'll die laughing. It's like, what on earth? Tickle him with a pickaxe? So yeah.
So they will want to buy this farm, but sure enough, through the will, it was given to somebody who then also died. So it was given to somebody else.
The man's sister, Florette.
The man's sister.
The man who owned the farm, his sister Florette, who the original guy, Cesar, the uncle, was in love with at one time.
Right. And so what is he? Gerard Depardieu. What is he?
He's Jean. What's his last name? Jean. But he is the what's her name? The Florette's the sister.
The sister's what?
Son.
The sister's son. So that was the Florette's son. Okay. And he's a hunchback.
Yes.
And he is an accountant, a tax collector, accountant kind of guy in the city. And so when he comes in to move in, they're going, "Oh, he can't last long. He's just an accountant. He's a city guy. He doesn't understand these hills. And he won't be able to do all what he plans to do because he won't have enough water. And the little spring that's happening there, let's go plug it up." And so he doesn't get any water. And I'm sure, did Martin see that cement pouring?
Yeah, no.
Imagine Mark going, "That's all wrong. That'll never work."
It doesn't work that way. Are you crazy? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it does work in artesian wells because there's like no flat land there anywhere. It didn't seem like they're trying to eke out a farm living and cobbling these things together, and there's no path that's straight. So that's what made me think that even if there were cars, there's no cars getting up those mountains to deliver
up to where
stuff.
they live for sure. But I assume it's when they went to the town a little bit.
Right, you'd see something.
Yeah, I like how you said something, because I've not said something anymore in a long time. I say something. I say something now. You just got caught. It's $1, please. I give it to Corrine. Yeah, she deserves the $1, not me.
Okay. It's all good. So yeah, so the thing is with this movie, there's so many layers and aspects of, because the uncle and the son plot to try and find a way to stymie the plans of this Jean de Florette, the farmer who's come to take over his dead uncle's land and make a successful farm. So they do little sneaky things. Eugelin, the nephew, he removes the tiles from the house, and so he'll have a leak in the house, the shingles, on the roof. And then I have some here, I will give you after he has holes in his roof. So it's like he's a benefactor of stuff that he's caused.
Right, to look good. What's that called? That syndrome? Munchausen by proxy?
No, that's when that's an illness.
Yeah, it's an illness when you hurt somebody for your own gratification later. In other words, when you make your child sick so that your caring of this child looks so overwhelming angelic.
Right.
That's Munchausen by proxy. So he's doing that not with a child, but
similar.
He's making himself look very good by hurting.
Lending the mule, and just a whole bunch of different things that he appears to be helpful, and Jean Florette is in his debt.
Didn't you see that he wanted to be helpful, that he didn't really want to be that mean? And like, that's what I was.
Yes. Yeah. There was a couple of, he was wavering in that occasionally. Yes.
Whereas his uncle was staunch with, no, this is how you bleed them dry. This is how you figure. Yeah. This is how. And then, so what eventually happens in the movie is the rains don't really come. He does end up going berserk and goes like into a coma kind of thing, because he's worked himself too hard with not enough water and drinking too much wine. That's the only water he's getting. Yeah. And then he sort of comes out of that and has new ideas of digging a cistern or a well and gathering the water using dynamite. He tries to blow holes to make it the digging easier, and he ends up hurting himself and subsequently dying from it.
Yeah.
But when he was in the midst of trying to still build this into a farm, the uncle's going, I know. Didn't you think that was a really funny moment when he goes to him about the mortgage, and and then he turned it around and went, right, I could get a mortgage on this place and get the money now. In other words, he was trying to say, I'm willing to buy this off you for 8,000 francs, and the guy, and thinking that that's his only way out. He can walk away with 8,000 francs, and that's at least a bit of a bonus. Mm-hmm. And he's feeling proud of himself for duping this guy out of his farm for 8,000 francs. And the guy turns around and goes, my savior, you've done it.
Yeah, I can get a mortgage.
The fact that you're willing to buy me, I can get a mortgage for this. So he gets the mortgage. And in the end, after he dies from the remnant explosion, then his wife has to finally sell and collect whatever she can
and leave. Yeah. But so like that in itself is a great story, but they gave him like this, he died in the second year. In the first year, he actually had success. He bought rabbits and they just multiplied like crazy. And it, his what was it, squash or whatever that he made had done well. So it's like,
I think that was feed for the rabbits. I think all those other things were rabbit food.
Some of it, yeah.
I think when he was talking about it, there was the moments he said, I have to bring something into town to sell it. But when he was coming up with his plan, it was all, well, if I raise this much food, I can feed this many rabbits. And that was his going to be gardening and farming at the same time. Yeah.
But so he did okay the first year, but the whole thing about the farm is that it teeters on the fact that you need water. So they showed, the dying rabbits and the dying crop in the second year. And it was like, it just made that all the more sorrowful when you saw how the year before it was okay. Yeah. And how hard they worked. They tried to get the water, a 2-mile walk or whatever it was, and bring it back so that you can
The
water
little
them.
daughters carrying
The
water.
daughters carrying water. And it was like, the one thing I didn't like was when they picked up the rabbits by the ears. It's like, don't pick them up by the ears. They only did that a couple of times, but it's like, stop doing that. Don't do that.
But I was thinking that when it was happening, because I didn't like it either, but the rabbits seem pretty calm.
They do, but they don't like it. You pick them up by the scruff of the neck is what you do.
But I saw them also pick them up, and they were
Yes.
kicking a little bit on the neck, but on the ears, they just went. And is it the pain is so much that they just sort of?
I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is you're not supposed to pick up rabbits by the ears.
Yeah.
So.
And they were big rabbits.
Yes, they were. And threaded in with all of this is the idea that Caesar and Ugolin are trying to get the second farm for real cheap, and the villagers seem to be complicit in this. They're not outright saying that because you don't know whether they're going to be supportive of this guy, this new farmer trying to come in and become a success. And so, yeah, that it's the complicitness of the villagers is also an interesting tale. What should they have told him? Because they suspected there was a spring somewhere, and then it's like, well, you should be able to get water. And then, yeah, that was kind of, it's not just the one evil, uncle there and his dopey nephew. It was more complex than that.
Yeah. And there's this thing in France called terroir, and I don't even know how to spell it. T-E-R-O.
Whatever.
And what it means is terra is earth, I guess, food of the earth. It's so the idea. What do we call that here when you have a restaurant with farm to table?
Oh, earth to table, yeah, or whatever. Yeah, farm to table.
Yeah, where it's really close by. You get everything
local. Eat local.
And that's what it's like in France. This terroir is you are eating of the earth that you live on, and in restaurants and in the food you make, and it just makes everything so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a thing that is part of their way of life.
They have much more. They have much more pride in that than we do. Yeah,
we don't need to eat macaroni and cheese from a factory that's nearby. That's not important.
Right? No. One of the other parts when Jean was in the second year and things were looking bad, and it looked like he couldn't get enough money. The thing that was going to save him is his wife had a necklace that they were going to sell. If things got bad, they could always sell the necklace for the worth of the farm. And then they find out that he finds out that she had already pawned it the month before, and so they're starving now, and there's no hope.
Instead of 20,000 francs, she got 500 francs,
because she said it was paste. It was not real.
The envelopes were paste. But here's what hit me at that moment was, what happens if she was ripped off?
Yeah.
What happens if they both thought they were real, and they turn around and she brings it out to a jeweler, and the jeweler goes, paste. In other words, it's just sort of hardened paste that made these emeralds up, and then bought them for 500 francs. And why would you buy something for 500 francs if it's paste? It's costume jewelry if it's paste.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there thinking she got ripped off.
Yeah. So there's a bit of a mystery around that.
Going, whoa, no, let me do this. I'm a tax collector. I know what people try and rip me off. But none of that happened. She just said it, and he went,
yeah.
lost everything.
So it's the triumph and the tragedy is just so heart-wrenching. And he's got a little daughter who her name is Manon, and she's named after his wife was an opera singer, and her favorite opera was Manon. So the little girl. And so did you know that in the movie, the man who plays Jean was Gerard Depardieu, but the woman who played his wife was in real life his wife.
Oh, no, I didn't know. That's cool.
So I thought that was really interesting. And the guy who played Caesar, his wife died in the middle of filming this.
Oh, man.
So he was like, yeah, he became a beloved actor in France. This guy, I don't even know his name at the moment, but he played Caesar.
Danielle
Hotel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't even be trying because we're massacring the French. It's like, but yeah, one man's dream over another man's greed.
But it's at such a simple level. It's not at a complicated, financial transaction. If we had something here on this side of the border, it's a whole different thing. This is just so basic. And so my family, and I just want them to smell this air and live this life and live off the earth. And we can do this. I've left that tax collector life behind, and you hope for him, and he's got this hump, and like, even when the rains didn't come and he's swearing at God, he's going, "You gave me a hump."
Yes. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? I have a hump.
But I loved how he just didn't let it bother him. He just toiled past the hump. We think of the Hunchback of Notre Dame that couldn't even walk. He's toiling with this hump.
Yeah.
He's working hard and digging and carrying and walking, and he didn't let the hump bother him.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot, but there's, as simple as the story is, it's very complex when there's there are layers to it that you go, okay, I hadn't thought about that part of it, just like the struggle of Eugolin at first, and so he's helping, and then yet he's not helping, and then the only one that Caesar seems to be pretty ruthless in his, we're going to get this land for cheap. And I think he's the one who accidentally kills him, right? Or was it Eugolin?
That was him, I think.
I think so. And there was somebody watching. Now, somebody was watching either him kill him or
a couple of times early on, there was a guy.
There was someone watching.
Watching. And that was sort of weird because we never really saw the result.
We don't know who it is now, so maybe that's one of the answers to what the second one will give us. And then it also ends there with the girl seeing them unplug the stream. So the daughter now knows that they are the reason that her father is dead, because he was trying to get water and they had covered it up and they had hid it. And the daughter now knows. So what she's going to do with that is, she's a daughter. She can't do anything. She's a young girl, but maybe that will be part of the second story as well.
Maybe the second story would be called Menon of the Spring.
Yeah, something like that. So one of the things,
you find a movie in your listing of foreign films called Menon of the Spring.
Is it there already?
Okay.
Okay, excellent. So one of the things when Jean died, they stopped the clock, and that was an old time thing that when someone died, you stopped the clock. So there's the grandfather's clock.
I didn't know that.
There's a song that was a bit of just like putting pennies over a dead person's eyes or something like that. A bit of a tradition, or I don't know, whatever it was. But I liked how I think it was Eugolin when he found out that Jean died. He said, "I'm not crying, my eyes are." I'm not crying, my eyes are. I just thought that was just him, because in some ways all he wants is to do it. And the other one, he put the first flowers in, the first carnations. I didn't think there was enough roots on there to go in. It's like, I don't know. I'm not trusting that's.
Well, they weren't. They were just cut. They hadn't been.
Yeah, but he planted them. He planted them.
I know, but what else are you going to do?
Well, you have to plant roots. And he had roots that he was planting, but I don't think you can have
once the stem is in the ground, they don't root themselves.
I don't think so. I don't think you can cut off plants and then just stick them in the ground.
Well, no, I think normally you have to, put them somewhere like in, cotton or water.
Well, he had it all wrapped up. And it was,
I'm talking about you can start them rooting by putting them in water, like just putting them in, and then they start to root. But I think they would, if you slice them, they would start to root there. I think you'd have very poor likelihood of getting all your plants up and grow.
That's
some of them would root, and you have to water diligently, like every single day.
And I think he was doing that, but it was just, to me, that was the one thing that I went, okay, that doesn't look quite right. Those don't look like he's planting proper flowers to me, but I could be wrong. I'm not.
It was a dry kind of earth. It wasn't like in a nice.
Yeah, I expected little roots with the little feathery roots, not just to stick in the ground. It's like, okay, I'll plug these all in. And
I think you can stem lots of different flowers.
Sure.
And do that with it. Like I think you could take a carnation stem, probably cut it in 3 places and try and root them all. And they have a whatever success rate on doing that is. I think you have to, where those little knots are, when you have a stem and you have a little knot on it and then a stem and then a little knot. Yeah. I think that knot is the place stuff grows from.
Okay, could be.
It will root from and branch from.
Well, I know nothing about growing plants, so I'm not the one to talk. That was just.
I want to. I planted. What's it called? It's like a water lily plant. The teeny little things are called muguet, and they're French. And I bought them off of Amazon, and I wanted to plant them for Corrine so she could have them this spring, summer. And none of them have taken. I bought the seeds, and it was expensive for these little few seeds. And I opened little teeny things that set them in it, and I've been watering them every day. And it says 2 to 4 weeks before they sprout. And it's been well over a month now, and they've not sprouted, not one of them. And so either when I bought the seeds, I should have used them that year. I waited a year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that waiting a year and not putting them in a cold, dry place. I mean, they were dry. They were in a little envelope, and you know what I mean? They weren't,
and it didn't have an expiry date like use between. So it was a valiant effort, I'm assuming.
It didn't work, but I now have 3 plants in my living room, all looking at the window, gathering sunlight, and I'm liking the idea of starting to like plants. And
I don't mind the outside ones, and I don't want to be responsible for having to water anything.
Yeah, no, I'm not too good at the watering. I'll look at they're dying, but watering they're back.
So I had one plant, and I had written a story about it because I have a picture of a plant that's this tall, and the green is only here. The rest of it's all dried, crusty thing. So I wrote a story about it, and I called it wetting my plants. Wetting my plants. So
take on words from your streetwalker.
Yes. Okay. So I put that story on the blog, and then I shared it on Twitter, and Twitter gave me a caution on there. Caution, this might be sensitive material. Be very careful reading this because it might be sensitive material. And it's like, I've written sensitive material? Because it said, wetting my plants? Excellent. See what else I can do. Twitter, have at it.
Take me down.
Streetwalker, here we come. So that was interesting. So I'm looking forward to reading the next one. I might not be able to wait for a month. I might watch.
Now, as soon as this month is over, you can watch it whenever you want in the next month, right?
Yeah.
You already know the name of the movie.
Yes.
We never have it this early.
No.
It's because we had find one that follows another one, and I found a direct causation following thing.
That's an easy one. That was no. How did it? Well, both in France.
Here's how good my connections between these two movies were. You got it by watching the last few frames of the movie, part one. You're like, I know this connection.
Well, the daughter in the first movie is called Manon, and in the second movie, that's the title of the movie.
That's right. I guess she comes back.
Yeah, maybe in the spring.
No,
and it's the spring. But I wonder if she comes back in the spring. Like, is it two double? Like, But
Look at my eyebrows, how bushy, like Dad's.
Yeah.
I've got to like do something about that. And it's like matching the hair kind of.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Really, yeah, no, I have something in the bathroom that can run through it and lower that to a more appreciably reasonable level.
But the hair is starting to get long and funky doodle.
I did the last time, it was before November, and I had let it grow. It was worse than this long. If you look back at probably October's last time, you'd see a pretty mucky hairdo on me. And then I got a couple
now you're asking all of our fans to go back to October and check out, and then maybe no, it wasn't October. It was November. No, it was it's September. That's what it was.
For sure, I got my hair cut in November. I don't remember when in November.
Well, I've got my little ponytail.
There you go. Maybe
my Jedi Padawan learner.
I'm looking forward to see what Stacy thinks of this movie because I'm sure she'll watch it.
Well, it's
such a different one than all the movies we've watched.
No, especially because it had the like. And to be honest, I was a little like I take notes and then so I write down to take a note and it's like, oh shoot, I didn't read what was said because you hear them talking and you think you kind of know what they're saying, but not. I have to rewind to make sure that I did catch it properly. But.
Yeah. And it's actually nice when you hear the odd word and you go, "Oh, I know that word."
Yeah, I think I know what they're saying. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I got a little bit of something.
Yeah,
I know.
I got the idea, but yeah, no, I think I would say this is my first foreign film, except for when you accidentally got a Russian copy of a movie, and was it The Gangs of New York?
Yeah,
we were watching in Russian. It was like
you watch it for 8 minutes going. When are they going to start talking English? At some point in time, won't they?
Like,
to think up with this.
I didn't know The Gangs in New York was actually about the Russian mafia, and that's how it started. I had no idea. It's like this dope. Yeah.
That's what you're growling at.
So it's a story about betrayal and greed. One man's dream over another man's greed. Yeah. So it doesn't look like the good guy won in this. He ended up dying. So, but there's part 2 to be continued.
Well, we'll see what Manon can do to right this ship.
It's not a ship. They don't have any water. Well, now they do. They unplugged the water. So
I can't imagine just the way water works that you unplug it. Now you have a stream. But wherever that's coming from inside the mountain, collected, that doesn't also. Did it seem like they needed a lot of water for their little farms? We need 750 gallons a day. That's a lot of gallons. Like, is there a lot of farm that you're not showing me here? Like that you have? There must be because like there was an inordinate amount, and they need it every day. You think you could like water it one day for 500 gallons? It seemed like they went. We need 750 or nothing. They just die.
Yeah.
If we do 720, they're all dying.
Yeah.
Like they could have said, let's save half the farm and just do 300 gallons a day. I mean, let's save half the farm. That wasn't in his calculations. He did all the calculations and he needed them all.
Yeah.
And all the rabbits. And then he's letting the rabbits go, which is the mistake in this world. It turns around and rains a few days later and all those rabbits repopulate and they breed like rabbits and you've got a problem in your Provence.
Yeah, that was the thing too about he was waiting for the rain and then he saw the clouds. The God is good, and then the clouds passed by and it's like, you gave me a hope.
Raining. Yeah, it's raining over there.
Over there. It's not gonna help me. Yeah. So yeah, the ups and downs of a farm life, you certainly got that part.
Yeah.
But okay.
Wonderful. Well,
we will see you next month. Although I'll be watching it probably sooner than that. I'll probably rewatch it again.
I think it's a very good movie then if it's angsting you on to.
I was gonna if you had said I'm sorry I can't get part 2. I don't know what you mean. I'd be going like no, don't do that.
I've been looking for it.
Maybe you could get the book because I can't find the movie.
Yeah, let's do a book next month. Yeah, that would be funny to actually try a book And then you say, Jeff, so how far did you get? Halfway through the 3rd page. It's been a month.
Do you remember the book club that Claire Huxtable had? So Cliff was they were gonna have a book club with a bunch of women, and Cliff says, well, how come I can't join your book club? And she says, well, you can. And so, she said just before it was to start, did you read it? And he said, well, no, I never did get around to reading it, but that's okay. I'll wing it anyways. And she's all mad that he's going to be part of this book club without having put the work into it. Yeah. And so they start discussing stuff, and he kind of hems and haws, and the comedy is of him. Is he going to get caught looking like an idiot who didn't read the book? And so he's asked a question, and he hems and haws, and then he comes out with the perfect, appropriate, very thought out answer that meant, of course, he read the book and he understands all about it. So, but it was the fooling his wife, and she's dumbfounded because she was ready to rip into him for not having read it at all. So that's what I think of when I think of book clubs.
Okay. Well, we will see you
next month.
And the spring, we already know. Okay.
Toodaloo. Bye.